Hello everybody and welcome back to Take Your Time Gaming. This is Myst episode 5. I'm your host Wesley and we're going to get started here exploring the Stoneship age here in a minute. Last episode we went through the Channelwood age and discovered an interesting children's toy box that would also rip your hand off. We found a blue and a red page. We brought those back to the brothers and they gave us a little bit more information about how we should continue to bring them pages and they're trapped in wherever they are. So now, knowing that, we found a single white page in the marker switch by the Stoneship age, and I think it has something to do with the toy box that snatches your hand, the altar that we found in the creepy priest room, and but we couldn't figure that out. So I'm going to go to the Stoneship age because that marker switch was right next to the boat. The note that showed you how to get to it was ripped in half in Channelwood, so the other half of that note probably exists in, if I had to guess, the Stoneship age, because the marker switch was right next to the ship. So that's kind of a guess, but it's the only thing that makes sense. The Stoneship was the only other peaceful age you went to that wasn't really mysterious, so I feel pretty safe going there just to explore. I feel like we'll probably be able to get back because there wasn't a whole lot of world-changing events he noted going on there. So let's go ahead and explore the Stoneship age. So grab a tasty beverage and let's get started. Yo ho ho! Let's aboard the pirate ship, matey. I'm sorry, that was terrible. And on this lovely, tiny cabin, basically, it's like a broom closet for the ship. Or a swab closet, if you're swabbing the deck. Or walking the plank, matey. Lighthouse. I want to check out the ship there. Let's dive right in. Cool. This is an exciting looking age. Those are some very, very pointy rocks, though, I have to say. I wonder if we'll find Emmett, Will, and Branch on the rocks. For that is where they lived. They enjoyed their life. Okay, so we link in and we are immediately on the ship itself, which has been torn asunder, and half of which is over there, and half of which we're standing on here. The lighthouse is very easily off to the left. It looks like it's been submerged slightly in the water. It is indeed electrical poles, so I'm gonna take us back to our map here, the top view that we drew of the age. And so you can see here, we are standing on the deck of the ship. So this is actually the stern of the ship, the back, and that's the bow of the ship, the front. It appears that that staircase down to the cabin, which was full of linking book over on Myst Island, is now full of water. There are electrical cables over to the lighthouse. It looks like we can walk over there. I would say this map is not entirely accurate based on what I see of the age itself so far, but it's good enough to give us an indication of where we are relative to everything else. So let's go off to the right first, I think, and explore that direction, and then come up and explore the ship area and the lighthouse area before we head in this door that we that we linked in facing. So over here to the crow's nest, which has been converted into some sort of ooh. It's a little scary. Is that a pump or a motor? Could be a bilge pump. So 3 pumps. Let's write this in our handy dandy notebook. Okay, so we've got our crow's nest, which is under the shade of this lovely parasol up here. Activating each of these buttons seems to activate a motor. It is a really nice black parasol over the top there, so whoever brought that in must have gotten it from a really nice department store. I've left the first one turned on, and it appears that the bow of the stern of the ship, where the linking book was on Myst Island, the water that was flooding it has now been cleared. So let's go down and investigate. I'm going to note this down briefly, that switch number 1 clears the ship of water. So let's go down inside, see what's in there. It's very drippy down here. I wish I'd brought my parasol with me. Ooh. Bubbles. This is a little creepy. We're down below the surface of the water. And it sounds like someone is blowing bubbles. And believe it or not, I remember watching the How They Made Myst video, which they put on the CD, I think, when they released the game, or on a separate CD, and that actually is the sound of the game designers blowing bubbles in a jar and recording it to make it sound suitably nautical under here. So this is a beautiful bay window, which mysteriously is able to hold back water pressure. And I can't see anything. This is a little bit spine tingling. I don't know what's going on in down here. I feel very unsafe, very exposed in the dark. I feel like maybe I should whisper a bit. Keep it a little bit quiet. There's a outline of a button here. Doesn't seem to do anything. It's just dark down here. There's got to be a light switch somewhere. It's not like this game to make you fight in the dark. Oh, if you remember back to the book, he said underwater lamp. So this is the outline of that design of the underwater lamp that he talked about. I didn't draw it in my notebook, unfortunately, but I think that's probably the case. So let's go back upstairs. He talked about a generator in the lighthouse in the journal. So let's go check out the lighthouse. And if I'd bet you a donut it's full of water, like everything else, because he noted that the lighthouse has slowly been sinking into the water. It's pretty impressive that it's sinking and still straight up and down, because most things don't sink that linearly. But it's bringing in electricity from over inside that cave, I guess. Aha. So there's a key. If you click the key, it doesn't do anything. Oh, I see. It's chained down. The key is chained down. We can't get up here because it's locked. Let's see if we can drain this by changing which pump we have turned on. Let's try number 2. And that does not seem to have done anything at all. So number 2, don't know. Let's try number 3. Aha! Yes. So switch number 3 is the lighthouse. So it's eerily silent now inside this lighthouse. The key still doesn't do anything. We shall go down and down. That is a really effective pump. It drained that thing in like a second flat. There's not even a puddle on the ground here. Okay, so this chest was full of water, I guess. It makes sense. They didn't have very good weather stripping in the whenever this game was set, 1900s, 1800s. Oh, I've got an idea. So we drained this from water. This was obviously full of water, which means it was probably sitting here on the bottom of the lighthouse, because if it was full of water, the weight of the metal and the wood, I guess, is waterlogged, and the key and whatever's inside it weighed it down. We've just drained the water out of it. Let's close the valve, so it should be full of air now. And if we pump it back up, undo our bilge pump here, we'll just switch it back to number 2. And lo and behold, the chest has risen to the surface of the water in the lighthouse. And now our key, which has been attached with a chain to the planks here, should go in the lock. And inside the chest is another key. So we can hold a key and a page. 2 things we know that we can put in our inventory. So I'm going to take the key. I'm going to unlock this padlock that is the trapdoor up to the top of the lighthouse. Now I'm going to pop up inside. So I'm going to put this in our notebook here just to document our travels. So we've written down our steps here. We come to the lighthouse. It's full of water. We drain the water. We go to the bottom. We drain the water out of the chest. We close the valve on the chest to make sure it's airtight or watertight briefly. Then we go back and fill it back up with water. This makes the chest rise back up to the surface, where we can then unlock the chest. And now we are on to step 5, which is profit. So we will see what profit this investment in time has given us. We are now up the stairs in the lighthouse. Some nice glass panes. We're looking out back at the island. We can see both halves of the ship, which is embedded in the rock. We're looking out over the endless sea with nothing but a jut of rock, a promontory. And now, facing back towards the island, there's what looks like a 6-pack of beer, or Dr. Pepper, or maybe a battery, and attached to a handle. So let's turn the handle. Is it doing something? Ah, it's filling the charge meter, so this is definitely a pack of batteries. This is the charge meter on the left here, and as we crank, we fill those batteries full of juice. So that looks full. I don't know what these power, but it goes obviously back to the cave. We didn't explore the cave or the building that's embedded in the outcropping here. So let's go back and see. I have a feeling that I'm going to turn this off just to verify. So I'm going to switch our pump back to number 1, which should drain the ship. And yep, if I look back here into the cave, which is the only unexplored part of the island left, it is full of water again. So we know that switch number 2 drains the cave. It's kind of reminiscent of a bunker, really. It's got this very industrial concrete and steel framing thing going on. But let's go downstairs and see. Oh, this is a very deep cave. Okay, we are in a very ornate room. And if I know anything about this game so far, it's that this is Cirrus's room. Because he is a fancy pants. Oh. So it's a globe, perhaps? Showing a lovely cloud or sunset theme. It's over here. Red and blue. So the red globe on the left and this blue globe on the right. So we've got some potted plants, this lovely bedspread, which I'm surprised they haven't sold as a Myst-themed bedspread so far, but I can't click anything on the bed. Nice writing desk here. Huh. I don't know if that's just a toy. When I click the sculpture on this little writing desk, the ball kind of falls down into this square sculpture kind of thing. It's interesting. Oh, and a medicine kit. So somebody was either a doctor or had some bad habits. I'm gonna say he was a doctor. He must have been a doctor. But the syringe here and the vials are very reminiscent of late 1800s, which seems to fit with the rest of the timing of the game. And a chest of drawers. There are candlesticks in the top drawer. There's a split drawer on top on the right side, which has pearls and jewels in it. The left has gold nuggets and silver nuggets, so perhaps exploiting the natural resources of this world, which seems in line with Cirrus's behavior as a crazy person. Fine silverware. Many beautiful fabrics in which he might clothe himself. An empty drawer. And then the bottom drawer with a red page. I'm going to leave that red page in there. Just because. I think that's all there is in this room. I don't see anything else I can click or reveal. There's no secret drawers or false bottoms here. And I guess the batteries last a good long while because power's still on. So that must mean the other room is Achenar's quarters. Okay, so let's go turn back on switch number 1. Draining Achenar's quarters. And listen to the man blowing bubbles. We'll creep around here a little bit. I don't know how... This must be a switch. Let's try it. No? Why does this not work? Is there a light switch I'm missing somewhere? Tell me if there is. I can't see one. For as simple as the sounds are in this game, and somewhat silly actually at times when you just consider them by themselves, when you're really in the game and immersing yourself in it, they really kind of creep you out because they're a little otherworldly. They're definitely not normal sounds. Okay, I can't solve this. I might have to do clicky clicky, but I'm gonna go back to the lighthouse real quick, make sure my generator's still charged up. Maybe there's a time. Okay, it's been drained some. Cranked it back up to full. Maybe there's another entrance? So if you go down that way, that's the quarters under the water here to Achenar. But there's no switch or anything to tell it to send to one place or another, so it's got to be lighting both up. Yeah, And doesn't seem to be any functionality there. So back down. Maybe we missed... Ah, we haven't gone this way. Okay, so we've explored the lighthouse, we've explored both ships, but we haven't gone around the island. So now we are on the bow of the ship, looking out back towards the lighthouse. There is another entry point here, which is full of water. So I'm going to go back, drain the middle switch. And now it's empty down in this second part of the cave. So presumably we're underground nearby to Sirius's quarters. Perhaps Atris. Oh, that is spooky. This seems more like Atris's style, though. It's got the masks. I can zoom in on the mask to the right of the desk, but I can't click anything. I can zoom in on the mask to the left, but I can't click anything. There's a chest of drawers, on top of which is a holographic projector, and I'm going to click that. A picture of a rose. So there's a slider that's morphing this holographic picture into a skull. Okay, that's really not necessary, but a little bit terrifying. So Achenar is nuts. Sirius is pompous, but Achenar is nuts. Let's check out what's in these drawers. And this looks like a map. Very nice map. Another map of not the Earth. Another map in the third drawer down, fourth drawer down, also a map. Fifth drawer down is also a map. Sixth drawer down is the missing half of the paper. The one that we found in Channelwood in the bottom of the bed drawer in Sirius's quarters. So in Achenar's quarters on the Stoneship age, the other half of the paper, which says Marker Switch, Isle of Myst. The vault is located on the island of Myst. Achieved vary. Instructions are each of the marker, turn every one in the on position, and then as a final step, turn the one off. So we already know this because we lucked into it, but this note would be complete in telling you how to access that piece of paper that we found. And I'm worried that this is creepy. This is a ribcage lamp. That's toxic poison. That's something. I'm terrified the lights are going to go out, so I'm going to go back up and recharge my battery because I don't want to scream like a small child in front of you guys. And I might if the lights go out. Okay, still quite a bit of battery. So we've powered up the generator, back down investigating the very creepy ribcage lamp that is flanked on either side by antlers of some kind from some kind of creature from who knows what age in the Myst universe. Opposite the creepy ribcage lamp is Achenar's bed with a blue page on it, and this guy needs to wash his sheets something fierce. I don't know what he's been doing. Maybe he, like me, peed himself in the night because the lights went out, and then he saw his creepy whatever statue here, but that is... In any case, I don't see hidden things. I can't click on any of the face masks. There's nothing hiding under any of the maps in his drawer. So I think this area is basically just there for the blue page and to creep you out, which it succeeded in doing. Let's go around the gangplanks that we saw surrounding the outcropping that go all the way to the top of the mountain. If we go to the top, there is a telescope at the top. And I can pan the view. Very, very difficult, actually, to pan the view because you have to stay in the frame. But we're scanning the horizon for something. I don't know what. What are we scanning for? As we sweep it through 360 degrees, I mostly just see a lot of rocks. This is a bit cumbersome, so... There's a glowing beacon on the top of the lighthouse at 135 degrees azimuth. I feel like that's really only the significant thing we've seen, except a bunch of rocks and outcroppings. Yeah, so that's the only significant item in the scope here. Let's go back to the right and find the lighthouse again. Okay, let's see if there's a pattern to these blinks or if it's just off and on. Looks like just off and on to me. But it's flashing. It's flashing rhythmically. So let me make a few notes here, just of all the things we've discovered so far, and so I don't forget the number 135. Okay, so we've described what we've seen so far in terms of Cirrus and Achenar's quarters, the unknown, I'm going to call it the study room. It has the glass panels and the creepy bubbling sound. The telescope points to 135. But for what significance, I wonder? Let's drain the lighthouse again and see if there's anything I missed at the bottom. The padlock and the key. Okay, that's normal. There's nothing here. Yeah, that's not important. Click all the things. I wonder if we let that battery run out of juice, what happens? If it changes the lighthouse signals. Well, in any case, guys, I think that's a good spot to stop. We are in the Stoneship age. We are a bit confused on how to proceed next. So tune in next time to see me try to fail and solve this puzzle again. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, if you want to see more of it, hit the notifications bell, subscribe to the channel, or follow me on at TYT Gaming capital W capital B on Twitter, and follow Katie at TYT Gaming capital K capital C if you don't already. She'll publish all the updates when the new videos go live and everything on the channel. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers.